There are nights when the NBA schedule looks quiet from the outside. Just 4 games, a light Thursday slate wedged between a primetime NFL showdown and a wall of cup games on Friday. But beneath that small slate, the numbers tell a very different story. 4 games can create 4 storms, 4 battlegrounds, and 4 massive opportunities for anyone brave enough to lean into the chaos and read the floor before the ball even goes up. And that's exactly what tonight looks like. A slate where injuries bend matchups, props open secret doors, and certain players walk into the evening ready to explode. So buckle in, because this breakdown digs deep into every possession, matchup, and player trend to get you fully prepared for Thursday night in the NBA. It begins with the Clippers and the Magic, a matchup wrapped in injuries and streaks. Orlando walks in as 5.5 point favorites, but both teams limp in without stars. The Clippers come in missing Kawhi Leonard and Derrick Jones Jr., and the Magic still don't have Paolo Banchero. That immediately shifts the dynamic. The Clippers have quietly covered the spread in their last 3 games, a sudden turnaround after failing to cover in 9 straight. Meanwhile, the Magic are 7-3 against the spread in their last 10, but matchup vulnerabilities creep beneath that strong record. Orlando struggles massively with point guards, giving up the 3rd most points to the position, and standing on the other side of that weakness is James Harden. Harden has not just been good, he has been volcanic. Averaging 33 points over his last 5 games, he has turned into the anchor of the Clippers' offense, and the matchup screams opportunity. His points line sits at 25, and against a defense that bleeds scoring to dynamic guards, he walks into one of the clearest green lights of the night. The same thing happened with Steph Curry earlier this season, inconsistent until he ran into Orlando, and then he erupted. Harden has that same window tonight. The Magic have their own weapon waiting. Wendell Carter Jr. steps into a dream matchup, because the Clippers give up the 3rd most points to centers. His first quarter scoring prop has been gold all season, hitting in 9 of his last 11 games, and with Banchero sitting, he gets even more touches early in games. He has become one of those centers who can walk onto the court, hit 2 mid-range jumpers before most fans even sit down, and instantly put pressure on opposing bigs. And the ripple effect of Banchero's absence doesn't stop there. Tristan da Silva, whether starting or coming off the bench, has stepped into a scoring role, averaging 17 points per game without Banchero. The books set his line at 11.5, and that comes with a 100% hit rate in games without Paolo. His usage rises, his confidence rises, and he has earned the role. Both teams play slow, both favor half-court pacing, and both have defenses that can grind games down. But the Clippers' recent surge combined with Harden's matchup edge makes the points incredibly valuable here. The lean stays with Los Angeles to keep it close, maybe even to sneak out a tight, low-scoring win, but at the very least, the points fit the game's script. Then comes the Sixers and the Bucks, a matchup that exists in limbo until final injury calls come in. Philadelphia is favored by 1.5, but they're on a back-to-back. Joel Embiid and Paul George sat the front end, which typically signals a plan to play in the second game. And their availability swings everything. Andre Drummond has been cashing consistently, but if Embiid returns, those lines vanish instantly. What does remain consistent, though, is Paul George's opportunity. He returns to a matchup that bends perfectly in his direction because Milwaukee gives up more points to small forwards than any team in the league. Even without Giannis, which might seem like a red flag, the Bucks are still dangerous. They've played shockingly well whenever he sits, especially at home, where the role players shoot with confidence. There are no props available yet for this game, but the lanes are obvious. Paul George scoring, Maxey rebounds, something that has been quietly reliable. VJ Edgecombe's rebounds, which hit last game. And overall, the Bucks remain one of the softest rebounding matchups in the league. The lean goes to the Sixers based on talent and health benefits from the back-to-back sitting strategy, and recent performances from players like Maxey suggest that even on tired legs, they can find an energy surge when they need it. Halfway through the slate, the energy shifts into chaos mode, the Hawks versus the Spurs. The Spurs are thin favorites at -1.5 but equally thin in roster depth. Atlanta has Porzingis and Zachary Reese listed as questionable again. The Spurs are missing Stephon Castle and Victor Wembanyama, and although San Antonio covered their last game without both, that game came against Memphis without Ja Morant. Atlanta has been the more consistent team overall, covering 7 of their last 10 games, and that consistency shows up in their individual props. One of the best hidden gems on the Hawks this season has been Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who has become one of their most reliable scorers. His first quarter scoring prop is one of the best trends in the league, hitting in 11 of 13 games. With ball-dominant players in and out of the lineup, he has thrived by being the steady hand who takes the early open looks. Dyson Daniels is another key weapon, with a rebounds plus assists line near even money, something he has cleared in 70% of games with Trae Young out. If someone wants a cleaner angle, his assists alone have hit 5 or more in 80% of games, and that's an alternate line that can anchor parlays. If Porzingis sits, Onyeka Okongwu immediately becomes the focal point for Atlanta. His scoring logs of 32, 27, and 21 over his last 3 games speak for themselves, and the matchup only improves because the Spurs have no rim protection without Wembanyama. Even more surprising has been his jump shooting spike, some games featuring elite 3-point performances. The Spurs, despite missing their brightest young stars, still have meaningful contributors. Keldon Johnson has stepped into a larger role, especially on the glass. Even with Castle and Wemby active earlier in the season, he had been consistently hitting his rebound lines, and with both out, the volume grows. 7 rebounds and 16 rebound chances in his last outing underline that. Harrison Barnes becomes another sneaky angle, with his 3-point line showing value. He took 8 attempts last game, hit 4, and at home he's been shooting around 50%, covering 6 of his last 8 home games. At plus odds, it becomes one of the best value plays on the board. But overall, with the matchups and recent trends in mind, the lean stays with Atlanta as the underdog. Finally, the Kings and Grizzlies meet in a game lined at Memphis -2, but the whole matchup is built on uncertainty. Sacramento is on a back-to-back, Sabonis didn't play Wednesday, and his status determines everything. Memphis comes in without Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. likely out as well, which opens huge opportunities across the roster. Cedric Coward has stepped up consistently as a scorer. Santi Aldama becomes a primary scoring piece with JJJ out and stretches the floor with his 3-point shooting. And Zach Edey, someone who stepped in with real presence, has been rebounding at an elite rate. He narrowly missed a double-double last game by a single bucket. His minutes remain steady, and his command on the boards makes him a go-to option once props release. The Kings' lean depends almost entirely on who sits, but if they bring the same roster from Wednesday, Levine, DeRozan, Schroeder, and others, they walk in as the better and deeper team. Even on a back-to-back, their talent advantage is meaningful, and the lean tilts toward Sacramento as the underdog. It's a small slate, but every matchup has edges hidden beneath injuries, pace, and player tendencies. And those small slates often end up being the ones where sharp bettors find the easiest value because fewer games mean more focused analysis and fewer distractions. If you want deeper breakdowns, pinned comments will hold updated props as they release, and discussion stays open around the clock inside the community for anyone who wants to break down these numbers even further. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to Beyond the Box Score, and drop a comment for the algorithm. Even a single letter helps push the channel forward. More analysis, predictions, and deep dive storytelling is coming your way, so stay tuned, stay sharp, and I'll catch you in the next one.